almost $800 this week. It's been an absolute epic week. My name's Chris Fell and welcome back to the channel, and we are all about running, reselling, lifestyle and everything in between. And today, taking you through the what's sold, some of the top items that we've done, taking you through some of the numbers and just, some of the exciting progressive things that I want to take you through today. And also we're going to touch on a question that I had around how I'm preparing for tax time. And of course, this is the last week before the end of the financial year. So I'm going to take you through that as well. All right, let's get into it. So jumping into the top 5 items of what's sold this week. And the first one being the Human Body Atlas. Now this one sat around for more than 100 days and it cost me $2.77. Was able to sell it for $60 basically, a profit of $33. So you got to be on the lookout for these books. They do well, but they don't sell all the time. Item number 2. Now this was actually something from my own thrift at home. So yes, a Yes Optus, basically a 4G device modem. So it cost me $0. Sold it for $45 and profit of $30. Now top item number 3, this was some Levi's jeans and I paid $2.25 for these. Sold it for $33 after fees post, but with some postage discounts, I profited $29. Now I've been really trying to focus on the jeans a lot more in the last couple of weeks, and I had jeans that were sitting around that I hadn't listed, and I finally listed them and they were selling quickly. I listed this and it sold within 24 hours. So bread and butter items, bread and butter items. Item number 4. Now this was a Wiggles VHS lot, bundle lot kind of thing. I picked these up from the tip shop. They were 50 cents each, but of course from that day, the average cost of goods, it meant that these totaled out to be about $11.25. I sold these for $60. Profited $30 basically after fees and post. So pretty happy with this. And quick note here is I did not test these, and I had that all in the description. Make sure it was very clear, not tested, but look good, in terms of condition from the box, but not tested. Top item number 5. Now this one I actually picked up in my last thrift haul. These cost me $18, and this was basically some DCI bank seasons. So it cost me about $18. Sold it for $55 after fees, postage. Came out with $28 profit. So a bit of a flop this week. One shirt which I had picked up and I didn't really put much attention to it because, I don't know, I was just a bit slack when I purchased it. But what's interesting, a bit of a story with this one. So I purchased this probably about 4 months ago. Took me ages to list it just because I've been lazy, but now that I'm back into the listing game, I was able to progress and get it up. Now it only sat around for about 4 or 5 days, maybe a bit longer, and I realized when I was listing it that there was so many things, holes, this, that, and it just didn't have much value. Like, I wouldn't think it's worth much. And I had a few people watching it, but someone made me an offer eventually, and this one had actually cost me quite high. It was around $4. That was a day where my cost of goods weren't that very low. And look, I listed it. I couldn't really get much for it. I took very little money for this. I think it was $13. Basically get my money back. But then after postage, I basically lost a couple of dollars on this one. It's not the end of the world, but sometimes what we think is going to work out isn't always. And it's good to have these moments just to remind us that need to be solid, need to be sure. It was a pretty cool shirt, but just not the best condition. Had some holes and things like that, and it was definitely worn. Had some wear and tear. So, lessons learned. So how have we gone for the entire week? And it's been a strong week, above average. We've done 27 sales at the point of this time, which is 10 o'clock at night. Margin being high, 52%. Cost of goods, $109. Sold $786 worth. Just shy of $800, and profit being $410. So really solid week. Once again, jumping over to what's selling in terms of counts and profits and revenues, books being the big one. Books have been magic this week. And I've sold a lot of bric-a-brac, clothes, collectibles, DVDs, electronics, hats, shoes, toys, video, you name it. It's been a bit of everything this week. Toys were strong. Collectibles. I want to refer you to the collectibles. The collectibles were the pins. Those pins that I purchased at 13 cents a pop. I sold another 3 bundles of them, getting in a total revenue of, you can see there, $43. We've profit of around $18 on top of the Geelong pin that I sold last week out of that pin lot that I paid $20 for. The Geelong one I got $27 for, $25 for, and I've already come out with $43 on top of that, and profit obviously being about half that. So those have done really, really well. Otherwise, lots of close this week as well. It's been a really, really good week, and that kind of segues into some of the other things I'm going to talk about is, well, as you can see, averages are up. This is my biggest sales week. I'm not kidding. 27 sales is my biggest sales week ever done. We've done a total of $786, so average being $669, so we're above average, and this all comes down to the listing challenge, and I cannot emphasize on this enough. Something so simple. Now, I've always been the one to say, you need to be listing before it can sell, but as you can see at the start, and green being listings, when I started this, back, for the first 7 weeks, I was averaging around that 60 to 70 mark per week, and then come week 8, between week 8 and 17, it was bad. Like, I was averaging about 30 listings a week, so I halved. And I think that, I don't know, I got too focused on buy. And with lockdown, that really helped me. And working with the two Aussie thrifters, just some banter together and, some accountability, I've been able to just put some focus, put in some really good mental game around consistency, around challenge work, around routine, around building habit, and making sure that I am getting that 10 a day between Monday to Friday, and then anything else on top of that is icing. So I was able to sneak in some additional drafts and get some done on the weekend. So I've averaged 9.7 a day this week for the 7 days, just shy of 10, 68 listed. Now, the other cool thing here is total sales have averaged higher again as well. So I'm averaging almost 4 sales a day, which is epic. So super exciting for this week. It'll be interesting to see what happens next week, being the last week of the financial year as well. But hey, we'll find out. So 100K revenue update. We are still behind on schedule. We were meant to be at 17,300, weeks ago. We're meant to be at $23,700 by the end of this week, well, middle of this week. So we're way behind. However, I've done some number crunching. In order for me to reach $100,000 at the time of me saving this screenshot, it says my average ASP being $39.86. So this will update every single day and change depending on what I'm selling. At this point in time, it's saying that I basically need to have 2,500 listings done at an end sold of an average of $39.86. Now, to do that, it means at the point of time of me taking that screenshot and the end of the year, 31st of December, but I've also included an additional 20% of listings, to take into account for average cycle time. I need to be listing 13.4 items per day, every day, until the end of the year. Now, this changes daily, so if I do more, it will drop. If I do less, it's going to keep building up. So this is going to keep me accountable of how I can get back on top of things. Now, obviously, I'm not there yet. I'm averaging 9.7. I need to be doing 13.4. So really, I need to be doing 15 a day. Working on some ways to build this habit strong. At the moment, the 10 is strong. I'm excited to track this, monitor it, and see what I can do. Bit more motivated more than ever at this moment. So let's see what we can do. But so far, it's paying off. Can you hear the crickets? Yeah, these things are noisy as heck. All right, so Q&A for this week. You remember last week I mentioned, is there a question that someone has? And I've had one from the Aussie Hustler. Thank you for asking. I would love to hear more about how I prepare for tax time. Now, I want to be very clear here. This is my first year doing reselling in general, for tax purposes at least. It was a hobby prior to this. So there is some caveats here that I need to talk about. And also, I need to just be firm that some of the answers I don't really have, but I'm going to take you through my mindset, what I'm thinking about, and what I'm doing. So first of all, you need to check with your accountant on all this. This is not advice. This is just what I'm doing to prepare, and you need to check with your own accountant. There's plenty of other people that have some videos in a bit more detail, but once again, you need to speak with your own accountant because everyone's situation is different. So the things I'm focusing on is process management. And what I mean by that is twofold. So, for the next couple of days, I need to get expenses and receipts in order, but it's a bit messy, right? And that's why looking at it, I need to make sure going into FY22, and that's how I kind of want to answer this, is I want to think, well, what am I doing to make sure that FY22 is going to be solid and better? Because there's going to be a lot of lessons that come out from my tax return this year, just because I haven't done it before with the reselling game. So expenses and receipts are going to be key, and I know there's going to be some lessons learned there. And I'm also making sure, because I had been working a full-time job at the start of this year, a lot of my taxable income is coming from that. This is on top of that, so it's going to be pushing me up into some higher tax brackets. So anything that I can do to bring that down before the end of this financial year, which is obviously the next couple of days, I'm going to see if I can do that without being silly. So there is a few things I need to get, some tubs, some storage stuff, and just stock up on some different postage supplies and things like that just before the tax time ends. Just making sure that I'm getting that expense to bring down my total dollars. But once again, speak to your accountant if that makes sense to you. The other thing I'm focusing on is profit first. Now, I've been harping on about this book for the last couple of weeks, and it's super key because going into the new financial year, I want to make sure that I am profiting first. And what I mean by that is that I'm not just getting to the end of the month, seeing how much profit I've got and expecting it to be in my bank account, because that's not the case. Profit first really takes you through a process which is going to enable you to, every time you get paid out from eBay, that you are getting some owner's pay, you're getting some profit aside to give yourself a bit of a cash bonus, and also covering expenses, tax expenses, and some other things too. So check out that book. I really cannot emphasize this enough. Go check out the book. It's really worked for me. It's doing well for me. I've been trialing it for the last month or so. It's doing wonders. Link in the description below. Go check it out. Get it on Amazon. Get a hard copy. Get a Audible copy. Whatever. Well worth it. Guarantee it. The other thing is that I am doing for the rest of this week as well is stock take and auditing. So just spending some time really just to understand what have I got left in stock take, what have I really got left in stock in my inventory that's not listed, and all that jazz. Making sure I understand how much goods I have on hand and what was the cost value of those goods. And this way I can make sure when I'm running it up to the tax man, to the accountant, that all that is understood, very clean from day one, because that's going to roll over into the new financial year. So those are all things that I'm doing. So as I just said, those are all the things that I'm really focusing on. There will be a bunch of lessons I know coming from this, and because there's been a lot of things that I wasn't doing. Accountant spoke to me and said, hey, look, you should have been doing this, should have been doing that. It's not too bad at this point in time, because this year it's a bit of a write-off for me, just because a lot of my income is coming from my 9 to 5 gigs. So that is going to take a lot of the dollars. Going into the new financial year, since this will be the main source of my income, that this is where it's going to be key to make sure I've got all these things perfectly set up, ready to rumble, ready to go, ready to learn as well, to make sure that I am benefiting the most from how I manage my money, manage my expenses, and track all those things. So I hope this has answered your question, Aussie Hustler. And for anyone else, look, maybe you've got some different ideas, different opinions. More than happy to listen, more than happy to hear. Once again, I'm here to learn, here to share, and I'll probably have a bit better understanding of this in the coming weeks. So what's coming out this week? Well, we've got the thrifting video on Wednesday. Saturday, I will have my week 5 of the 50K training plan. And Sunday, I have my podcast, which is via the podcast YouTube channel or furtheryourlifestyle.com. And I will have a live stream coming out on Saturday. I think it's Saturday, so I'm going to say that. Otherwise, jump down to the description below. There will be a link there that you can jump on and set the reminder and all that jazz. But most likely, Saturday evening, Australian Eastern Standard Time, just to go through month progress, how things have gone in terms of everything that I'm working on. And we're getting close to that 1,000 subscribers. As I keep saying, once I hit 1,000, there will be a big giveaway as well. So we'll talk a bit more about that then. Well, that's it, folks. Really do appreciate you being here. Look, I'm pretty happy with this week. There's some big things here pointing in the right direction. However, just because you have one good week, that doesn't mean that's the rest of every week, right? So next week will be interesting. Next week is the start of the new financial year. So lots of things happening. Really do appreciate being here. If you do have a question, let me know in the comments below. I'm going to do my best to try and answer a question every week and, give back some love to you guys as well. Be a bit more direct. So if you've got a question, put it down in the comments below. Otherwise, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do the whole shebang, and hustle. Ciao.